Is it visible? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So yeah, I just felt that this session would be kind of useful for you students because this actually gives you an idea of like how things work in college and how we people work here after like entering industry. Experience was like kind of different for me, so it was not like as usual like the regular coding where we just focus on DSA, reducing the time complexity, improving the space complexity. It's not only about that, it is far beyond that. So after like coming here, I just realized, okay, thinking about complex coding, how to give like all the logic and everything, that alone is not enough. So I thought this session might be useful for you guys. So yeah, I'll just give a quick introduction about myself. So I'm just working in as I like they gave me a very good intro. It's still I'll just say I'm working as a software development engineer at Tranco Systems, and it's a low code platform, so you can just easily create APIs using the platform that I work in. And I also worked in interned at Amazon. So here I helped in developing a shadow test framework. It's like I worked in legacy code. So legacy code is like the older versions of code, which is very difficult to maintain, scale, and everything. So I was in part of migrating that. So I created a shadow test framework in order to test in order to make sure the migration is smooth from the legacy to the new version of code. And that is all about myself, and I'm more into full stack development. And I contributed a little bit by using prompt engineering and MCPs in my current company. And yeah, so I'll just get started with the session. So I'll just start with this question. So in college, it is all about you write assignments. You just correct the output. You just submit it, and once it is done, even I was in college, I never opened like what assignments I did. It was never about like okay revisiting everything once again. So once the problem is solved, and yeah, that's it, and it is only read by me. So yeah, and what do you guys think how it is actually? So in industry, like, do you have any idea on like how things work or something? Yeah, it's okay. I'll just say. So whenever it's all about like not only your code runs once, you just solve one problem. It just lives for like few days and hours. It is not about like a long term thing. But whenever you enter industry, it is all about not only about like speed of writing or passing all the tests, finishing the assignments. It is about maintenance, how long-term survival of the code. Because even after like 2 or 3 years, your code should be written in such a way that it is like more readable, and it survives that long. It should be scalable, and you should be able to, you know, um, yeah. So long time survival is like very important actor whenever you come here. So it is very important that you think about all the things, because the things that you change under pressure, like customers will be affected, your team will be stressed, deadlines will be tight, and whenever the code that is written by you, it's like opened by some other person, because it is not only the thing that if you are writing a code, you will be working on that, other person will also work on that. So we should keep that on mind. So it is all about like can I safely change this, or like it should be understandable. If you don't understand this, then whenever an issue arises, then panic begins. So it should be maintainability is a requirement, so it is very important. So your code might break at 3 a.m. and because production systems, there will be traffic spikes, unexpected inputs from user, integration might fail, there might be some human mistake, so yeah, it might break, but it should be very easy to debug and fix. So in that way, development should be focused. So it is not only about speed of writing, how complex your code is, how it is getting done. It is more on like readability, the changeability, stability of your code. And yeah, on a whole, like, can you work in as a team? Yeah, that is very important. So um, that's what I'm like trying to make a point. So it's not only like the thing that you learn in college that is useful. It helps you thinking in logical ways and like more. But it is also, but when you come to industry, all the things that you learn in college, I don't think we'll be applying everything there. So yeah. Um, so, how do we write a code that survives change? That is a very important thing to think about when you come to a company, or like when you do an internship or enter as an engineer, begin your journey as an engineer. So, uh, that is where other concepts that we learn in college like comes into application. So before like looking at the problem without OOP, like we should think about like why OOP exists, right? So why do you think object oriented programming exists? Can any of you just say a few points if you have?
To maintain a good code, like readability, modularity of a code.
Awesome. Yeah, that is the main thing actually. So the real reason OOP exists is to manage change. It helps you in beautifully managing changes. So, oh, okay. So whenever a software, if you consider software, it is never finished. Just take an example of Instagram, Swiggy, or any other application, Amazon maybe. So a real product is like it's never finished. So okay, if you write a code once, you can't say that it will be untouched forever. That is like a clear no for that question. So software constantly evolves, new features will be added, business logics might change, performance requirements might change, teams will change, technology will change, everything changes, so there will be constant change which is guaranteed. The thing is, your the code that you write might fail because not because it's wrong, because it can't adapt. So you should be able to make sure that it's adaptable. That's how we use oops there. Now let's just think about a simple payroll system. First, our first requirement is like we have to support full-time employees there in a company. We'll just like what we'll just say like we are calculating the salary. We just pass the employee. We'll just write a method for like calculating salary. That is simple, done. Then your next requirement will be like they're hiring some contract employees, let's say, and now salary rules will differ for them. Now what we'll do, we'll just update the function again. Again, we have to see, okay, if the employee type is full time, we have to go with this rule. If employee type is contract, we have to go with the other rule. Still okay, it's manageable. And now interns like are hired. Now they have different stipend rules. We have to add another if condition. Oh, then taxes are there, bonuses are there, more conditions, more logic. So, okay, imagine after like 3 years, will this system work? Obviously, no, because it gets longer. It will be full of nested if else. Nobody will fully understand it. Everyone will be afraid to modify it because if one thing breaks, this entire system fails. So this is how a legacy code is born. So this is where like this is the code where people are like afraid to change. It's not only like the older code. So I worked in a legacy system and I know how painful it is. But yeah. Now let's just see what the real problem is. Okay, so there'll be no good performance, there'll be no correctness. So yeah, the one small change, the system will be in a wide range of risk. So this is not what we want. That's where OOP solution comes in, where we just introduce OOP naturally instead of pulling all the logic in like one place. We just break the system into small units with their own logic and responsibilities. So each unit will handle their own concept, will have their own behavior, and they can be changed independently. And yeah, this is what we want. One giant function handling all employee types. Instead of that, we'll just create full-time employee class, contract employee class, intern employee class. Each class will know how to calculate its own salary. Now, when interns in, we modified intern employee only. So the rest of the system will stay safe. So that is the key idea of OOP. Um, and it is not only about that. In a company, it is always about the team will grow, people will switch teams, people will leave, new developers join. So when someone new joins and sees a giant procedural codes, they'll be like, you won't want to touch that. So yeah, that is where like hoops will help you to collaborate in within team safely. uh, so yeah, but now we have an idea of like how OOP works, how the changes will be managed. Okay, then how do we know that if the design that we did is like good? Because using classes alone does not mean that it's a good design. You can write a terrible object oriented code. That's where we have something called as solid principles, which comes in. So it is not like just like that. So these principles are because thousands of engineers broke production systems for decades, and based on that, they've started following a pattern, which is like a basic pattern that is followed by every developer. So like we'll just go through each of the principle and how the solutions will change on solution, that the way that you approach for a solution for a problem will change. So yeah, so the solid principle, it is like about single responsibility. It starts with single responsibility, which is so each and everything will contribute a lot. So single responsibility is nothing but, okay, let me take an example. What happens when one class has like 10 things? Can anyone say like, yeah, you have like a class, you have a class and it does 10 things, and anyone has like what might happen, what will be the difficulties on having such a class?
Like, what is the question?
So you have a class and there are like 10 things happens in that class. There are like 10 behaviors within the class. You can say methods. Each and every method has like a different behavior. They handle like different logic. What are the difficulties that you might face? You have any idea in a production level, in a very big product level?
Maybe method overriding and things like that.
Hmm.
One
Hmm.
thing
Operator
breaks, the
overloading.
whole class can break.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that is like a very big headache. So it becomes very hard to reuse, as it is told, hard to debug to, hard to test. So every change that you make might become risky because it might affect one another. So let's just imagine, let's just take a class, a simple service class. Let's take a user, okay? So what do you have any idea like user? You are a user. What are the things that you'll do when you enter a website? Maybe you are just trying to log in into Instagram. What are the things that you give? Just give input. Your input will go to the database, and you might get some login information to your email. And in the backend, all the events will be logged properly, and authentication will be handled. And at the same time, all the other logics that are needed for your login and other scenarios, everything will be handled in this one user service class. So yeah, this looks good, but whenever there is a small requirement change, okay, for example, let's say the email format that you're sending to the user, it should change. So which file you edit, you will be touching this user service class again. Okay, but user service class also has this database things, because you're just passing input and it talks to the database. So what if now database logic breaks accidentally? Again, it is difficult. So why? Because everything lives together. So it's like one class, like one reason to change, that should be the thing. It's like not one method, not one feature, right? So in real world, it's not. It's like if you're just going to a dentist and for like heart surgery, so that doesn't make sense. So common thing that I can say, something that you guys can relate to, is we have controller classes, service classes. While building projects you might have, right? So controllers will be handling, so imagine controllers are handling the business logic, servers are doing all the DB related validation and all the logging, and you have utility classes which helps out these services and controllers, and they are with 50 methods. These are everywhere. So yeah, so one change, so it should be like, if you're making one change, it should not, it should be in one place. So that's when minimal damage will be there, or else it might, blast your production. Yeah. So yeah, so these are the things that we should be aware of, we should not be doing. So certain things are there, right? So one class should not do many things, services should not have like all the complete logic. So make sure that we have to make sure that everything is like split up into uh, different different classes or different components, and make sure they are not disturbed. They should be loosely coupled, not like dependent on each other. So then, yeah, the next principle comes for O, open or closed principle. So, okay, now let me take an example. So when a manager says we need a new payment method, in there are like many payment methods, we need a new payment method in this application. Then it will be like, okay, because it might bring a little bit of panic, because payment logic is inside one giant file. You have to add a new method. You must, so for that you must edit the working code, and touching working code is dangerous. So every time you modify working code, the risk of breaking it is higher. So software should always be open for extension and closed for modification. That's what this open closed principle is. So when you, like, if you are adding a new behavior, you should be adding it without changing the old stable code. So for example, if you have like three if statements with payment type card, UPI, wallet, and you have to add a new method, here you have to again change the old code. So instead, it will be a very good approach if you have classes. Like I'll create a class for UPI payment, or I'll create a class for wallet payment. So existing code will stay untouched. So it's very important to have a stable code always, because that's how the systems will be more predictable. It gets easy to debug and everything. And comes the next principle, which is called Liskov substitution. This was most confusing solid principle for me when I first just read about solid principles theoretically. But yeah, but with an example you might get it. So let me say, okay, let me ask you a question. If there is class B which extends class A, can we safely replace A with B? We have a class B, and that is extending class A. And my question is, can we safely replace this class A with B?
No.
Yeah. So that's what this principle is about. So let me say we have let me take an example. There's a class called bird, and bird has a method fly, and I create another class called penguin, which extends this bird. But penguins can't fly. So what happens? This will either throw exception or method will do nothing. So both are bad design. So this is what this principle is about. Your inheritance should make logical sense. So if subclass breaks unexpected behavior, yeah, so system sounds more unpredictable. So bad inheritance will create surprising bugs that you might not be aware of. Okay, this might arise, and at 3 a.m. you might have a case where you will be debugging them. So yeah, these are the worst bugs that you can ever face. So yeah, this is what this Liskov substitution is based on. And then we have interface segregation principle. Okay. So again, let me take a huge interface where we have, let me just say developer interface. Okay. Not developer, we'll just say some employee interface where we have like methods like work, eat, sleep, code, deploy, attend meeting. All are the methods. So now I'm just adding some other agent or like a robot or an AI agent, I can say. Okay. This is implementing this employee class, or I can say worker class to be better. So robot does not eat, sleep, or attend meetings. So now what happens? Again, empty methods, confusion, tight coupling because they'll be more dependent on each other, which I don't want. So yeah, so it should not depend on methods they don't use. So clients should not depend on methods they don't use. So we should be like interface should be segregated. It should be small, focused. That is what we want rather than a giant interface. So this makes the system more flexible, easy to handle. So each and every principles are kind of like interdependent, but yeah. Next comes D, dependency inversion principle. So yeah, you have a service. Let me say you have some order service, and that is that is using a MySQL database. Yeah, now company decides to migrate to MongoDB. Now what happens? This order service will break. Some dependent other services like payment service might break. Everything will break because the business logic here it depends on the tool. It's MySQL, like very specific, right? So it should be like so that's why we have to bring in abstraction, not implementations. So we have to keep an order service which will be with a database interface. Here the MySQL implements a database, MongoDB implements database. So this will be like we can swap the database without touching the actual business logic. So your business logic should not care about tools. That's what this principle is about. So whenever you do that, your business rules it lives longer. So that's what we want when it comes to industry. Yeah. So I might be saying this industry term a lot, but yeah. So the our key takeaway over here is reduce. We have to reduce. So by using solid principle, you can reduce a fear of change. You can extend the system safely, limit the damage whenever things break. So solid doesn't make code pretty. It is like it makes the code more survivable. And comes to the coding best practices, I think it's like this is very basic thing. Even when in your college, people will be recommending to maintain a proper naming structure, right? Because bad naming will create a lot of confusion. It might lead to misunderstanding of logic, incorrect changes, slow onboarding. So whenever you join a team, it should be like the name should be more readable, just than the data, temp, value, result. This is not how the naming should be. It is better if you have like some specific naming like customer orders, retry count. It is based on like whatever you work on. But yeah, so good names will eliminate the unnecessary comments. May help you understand it more clearly. Code will become 10 times more readable when it is written in such a way because teams will be reading it for years. And come into the next thing, small functions, as I already told you several times here in this meeting. So if you're like writing a 200 line function, all will be like, okay, obviously your code will be gone for a code review, and it is very important that it is not like, a complicated 200 line function. So it becomes very hard to debug, very hard to test, hard to understand and reuse. So it should be like one small function which should do one thing, so that it becomes easy to test that one function, easy to change that function, easy to read it. So yeah, so you can't do a lot of scrolling because it gets too long. And yeah, the next thing that is very important thing that you will be doing is logging. So usually when I was a student, I never did this logging thing a lot, because I never had the scenario of like logging the details and just reading out like how the logs are going and debugging things. I never came across such difficult things while doing projects. But in so when I joined the company while doing internship, I was like, I learned the importance of like login. So whenever a production bug appear, you cannot attach a debugger. So you cannot step through code, you cannot guess. But what you can do is you can read logs. So without logs, it will be blind debugging. Hours will be wasted. You have to guess like, okay, because of this is happening. So it is very important that you add logs every time. So logs are like, they are like message. So if you just give a proper login, whenever an error or something arises, just from the log you can just get an idea of like, this is why the error could be, this is the component that I'm getting the error from. So it is very important that you add login every time. And also it should also be like, you should not be expecting certain, okay, these will be the inputs, specific inputs that are passed, so that okay, this is like passing, so I can proceed with it. It's not only about your code is working at that moment. So when it comes in this industry level, everything will fail. So you can expect null values, invalid inputs, APIs might fail, network issues might be there. So you can never trust user input, external services, data from API. So it's like you can trust nothing. You have to validate everything. So this will help you in preventing many production bugs. And it is also very important that instead of like writing a complex code which is short and hard to understand, it is always preferable to write slightly longer, clear and maintainable code. So yeah, so it is not only like to impress the other people around, but it helps you to makes the other developer understand it. Because as I already told you, it's not only you like working in the code. And when I just started with my first job and I just opened the code, it was like, yeah, it gets overwhelming because there'll be like a lot of things, you won't be getting things at initially by just looking at them. But yeah, slowly at least you should be able to understand all the code that is written over there. So we have to think about like other people will also be reading that. So someday that developer might be you. So just yeah, that is a very important thing to think about. I think okay, I'm just saying a lot of things theoretically continuously, and you guys might be kind of bored. I don't know how interesting it is for you guys, but I just want to make it more interactive. So we just talked a lot. We just talked about how we build software, why we are using OOPS concept, how the solid principle work, why it is very important to keep all the best practices as an engineer. So all of this is good in theory, but let's just see how it actually looks in a real code. Mm, Okay. So instead of like more theory, we'll just do something a little bit better thing. So we'll just do a live code review. So this is a very important part whenever you just contribute uh, with code and everything in your job. Then comes the code review, which will be reviewed by the senior developers. So again, we'll like see how we'll take a piece of code which works fine, which compiles, which produces a correct output, but it has some problems when we just add on all these principles that we added, whatever we saw. There might be some problems with this code that I'm about to show you. So I want, as we go through the code, I want to check. I want you guys to check all the naming issues, big functions, missing validation, tight coupling, login, and everything. So let's just see, and I'll just show you the code. You just say that will this code survive the future? And yeah, so let's open the code. Yeah, I just want you guys to have a look on this code and just see whether you guys are like getting anything that we just looked a lot of theoretical things, right? Can you apply any of those and just discuss something here? Like what are the improvements that could be made to this code segment? What are the things that we can do here to make it better, an industry production level code? Yeah, I'll just give you some time. Just the code, look at the code and
For one, I think each control block could be split into a different functionality because
awesome. Yeah, that is a very good point. Yeah, we can do that. Then,
I think the indentation can also be improved.
okay, great. Any other things? Yeah, all these points, like you guys are checking all the boxes. Are you guys getting any other things from this code? Like any other improvements that can be made?
I suppose there could be some logging, like if the database save fails.
Awesome. 3 checks done. Yeah, great.
We could have a constructor for database.
Great. Yeah. 4 check boxes done. You guys are going great actually. Any other thing, or like let me, or should I just start like what are the things that are missed out? I'll just give you some more time. Okay, I'll just then proceed with it. You guys did great. You just checked all the boxes. I mean, all the important boxes that I actually expected from you guys. It's awesome. So, yeah, as you guys told, method is too big because everything is all the validation, business logic, database access, and everything is done in this one method. So yeah, we can like split all these methods. Then if you guys notice, there's like a lot of nested ifs here. So this makes the readability little bit difficult because it will be hard to maintain read, and it is also hard to test when you have these many. I mean, when you use nested ifs, that is one thing. And you can see something called as this uh, you have let's say we are seeing this string called as premium, right? So what if someone types something like, they are not typing exactly this premium, they just typing it in lowercase, or they have some other comma or full stop after the premium. Yeah, it will become a bug because that is not handled properly here. So there's no validation for it. So it might easily break. So yeah. And as you guys told, the DB could be in a different constructor, because if everything is here, it leads to tight coupling. So tight coupling means it will be very dependent. So this comes to the solid principle of dependency inversion. So business logic should not know the database. So everything should be separate. And as you guys again told, there's like no login here. We are just using system out println, which is not a proper way to log in. So this will disappear in production. This will not appear in production. So it is impossible to have a track on like what is happening. And if you notice another important thing, we there is no error handling here. So what if DB fails? What if the order is not properly placed because of some inconsistencies in the system? It will be a very huge impact in the production level. It will be a very huge bug. So it is always important to do error handling. Whatever the thing that you write on, it is very important to have error handling. And again, this is very hard to test because we usually write unit tests for each and every code segments. So we have like DB inside this method, multiple responsibilities are there. So testing will become a very big nightmare if you're trying to do all the unit testing. Okay, so let me just say how the improvised version of this code could look. As you guys told, we'll just split it into many different classes. Okay, order validator. We'll just keep something for discount. We'll just keep a repository for handling the database. We'll keep a separate logger and everything. So now each and every part we can easily test it. We can easily change. So it is easy to understand too. So we didn't change the feature. Feature is same, but we are just trying to reduce the risk by just applying all these solid principles, all the concepts that we are just learning in college, just like applying in a very huge level. Okay, so it is not only about looking into small syntaxes, saying the changes in the syntaxes. It's not only about the semicolons. It is more about maintainability, changeability, risk reduction. So when you enter as an engineer, when you start contributing, it is not about always writing perfect code. It's like, yeah, your senior developer or the senior person who's there, they should be they should feel safe to approve your code. So you have to write it in that level. So yeah, okay. Now we were just simply talking about debugging, testing. I think it is better if I just give you a little bit of a dose of SDLC, software development life cycle, like from starting from bug to how you just push it into production. Because it's not only about starting a project always from scratch. You always just go and take over the projects that you do. I think many of you guys might have done internships, right? So you might have some idea. It's like always you get a bug, you just solve them, debug it, solve it, put it, deploy it in the production, and versioning. It's all it's about that, right? So I just wanted to give you a sneak peek of software development life cycle. So let's say, okay, let's imagine it's a Monday morning. You just open your Slack or Teams message. There's a message saying customers are unable to place order. So this is a very big scenario when it comes to large scale, right? Because revenue will be lost, managers, everyone in the team will be panicking. support teams will be flooded with a lot of tickets. Everyone will be looking at the engineers who contributed, right? So it goes to the engineer. They'll say like, what happens next? So this is where the real engineering begins actually. I'm saying that. And it starts with debugging. Okay, you're just seeing a bug. Step one after you just look into a bug is debugging. So in college, debugging means we're just fixing our own mistake that we made in the project or whatever. It's fixing our own mistake. But when it comes to a production level thing, it is like you'll be debugging someone else's code. It might be written 2 years ago, and you will be under a lot of pressure. You will have like less context, because it might be high priority one. It might be a showstopper when you just see. So yeah, it is you will be working under a lot of pressure at that time. So as a beginner, what mistake that you might make is they guess so and assume this could be the issue and just jump into the conclusion. But yeah, your debugging should always start from some evidences, not some assumption like this could be the issue, so I'll just give this solution. So no, that's not how it works. So when you debug, first thing that you have to do is you have to read all the logs, and then you have to try your best to reproduce the issue that arose. So yeah, you will be reproducing that issue, and while reproducing the issue, you might get like, okay, what could be the actual root cause, and then you fix carefully. So yeah, when you reproduce the bug, that is actually very difficult to do that. But when you do that, and if you're able to reproduce that bug, then you will get where you're getting that bug, and you can fix it confidently. Next, after doing all this, the next thing is unit testing. So unit testing makes sure that, yeah, once we fix the bug, are we done? No, because we add tests, we explain. Okay, so it's not to impress others or like, yeah, it's done or something. So it's like coverage numbers or these many test cases are passed. Yeah, it is not about that. But we have to think in a way that we change the code. The test should pass, or you have to cover all the edge cases so that there will be no other issues that might arise because of the changes that you make. So that is very important. So that is why tests exist. So every change is risky. So your progress might slow without tests, but if we know that, so if we test it and if we know that we broke something, we move faster. We just, okay, so if you're getting this bug, then you're running into another issue because your test failed, then yeah, you can move. It will actually make your progress more faster, because you'll be giving a very good quality code. So that is very, unit testing is a very important part, equal to development, I'm saying. So you have to parallelly give all the unit tests too. So it is very important that you parallelly do that, so that yeah, you give a very good quality code, which is the most important key point. And then later you will deploy. So yeah, your code might work locally but not in production, because it has real users, real traffic, failures. So once deployed, it is not done. Yeah, I'm done with deployment. Yeah, and everything is done. So it is not about that. You have to monitor all the logs, you have to see all the metrics, see the alerts that you're getting. So yeah, deployment is not about the end. It's like that's when you start your real testing actually. So once all of this is done, metrics is looking good, all the logs and alert, you're not getting any alerts, all the logs are fine, if the graph looks, the metric looks very good, then yeah, you're you're not done, but you'll reach the last phase, but very important thing, which is Git. So it is very important to always do this versioning, because yeah, so using Git, yeah, because what we need Git, because we have to know what is changed, why it is changed, when it's changed. So it is very important that you have good Git habits. Okay, so you are debugging a bug, you will then go and check the git history. So it is very important that you have good commit messages, like a detailed but short commit message saying, okay, from looking at the commit message, you should understand like what is the code about. Okay, so it is very important, equally important to have to maintain git properly with good messages. But the other headache that you might face with git is like always merge conflicts. So always team collaboration is very important. People work in isolation, and if they don't sync properly often, and they don't communicate between them, uh, then yeah, that's where these merge conflicts arise. Because yeah, this is a very big communication problem. So it is always very important to have like, everything clear on what you are doing, and it is always very important to convey to the team people like on what you're doing. So I'm almost done with the session. I just wanted to like say that it is it is not like, as same as college, same things that you will be doing, but in a production level. And look, because you'll be debugging under pressure, you will be doing a lot of testing work also. You have to deploy it responsibly. You have to contribute your code in git. So yeah, it is very important to do that. And other things apart from this, if I want to give some inputs to you, whenever you're facing some issue in, or like some errors you're trying to debug, you have to do it independently. That is very important thing. But if you're just running into the same thing again and again, and it is taking too long for you to do that, it is not bad to just go and ask for help or convey it to your team. Because as a beginner, it is more appreciated if you're just expressive of like what you're going through, what are the things that you have tried so far, and what are the approaches that you did but which didn't work, and you're stuck in a position where you're not able to proceed at the earliest. Because that gives a good impression on you, on like the things that you have already done, and other inputs they might give you. Because you're still a junior engineer, so you'll need a lot of time to get all the experience and everything. So you can't just solve everything on your own. So initially, so it is okay to always go and get help, but try all the approaches that you can think of, and then reach out for help at the earliest, which is more appreciated. And yeah, so all I wanted to just say in the session is like, in college we just write code, we just look on like just solve passing all the test cases. But here you have to take ownership, you have to take responsibility for what you're doing. So yeah, mm, just start doing that from today as much as possible. Or like whenever you join a company, just keep all these little things in your mind. And yeah, that might impress people who are like you, who you might be working for. So yeah, I'm done with the session. And you guys can ask me any questions, internships, coding career, any mistakes, anything. Feel free to ask.
I was wondering if you could guide us on how to approach putting these practices into practice.
Okay. So yeah, it's just not that very easy to keep all these principles, and these are like theoretic stuff. You can't always keep all these in mind, and then just like contribute. It is not that very easy. But the thing that you can keep in mind is, you have certain things, right? And just like looking at it, you just think all these principles. Okay, is it just checking this box? Is it checking all these boxes? At least all the of basic five boxes, okay. If it looks good to you, because you can't always write the perfect code and give the perfect deliverables, there will be corrections, because initially at the beginning level, it is not, you can't expect that level of perfection. So you can just do this, just write a code, or you can just look at it and see just whether all the check boxes that you remember of is like being checked. You just wrote a good code, and you can go for a code review. That is fine, because you always will have people to guide you and help you out in like how your code could be improved. So it is not always you just write a code and just directly push it to production. No, always you'll have a senior person who will just do a review of the code that is written by you. And yeah, but while going to them, they should be like, okay, this is a very good thing that you covered all these things, but this could be even more better. You have to get such kind of session, rather than the entire coding way that you're doing is not that good or not optimized. Instead of that, starting from scratch, you can keep all the things, try to remember these things, and just do a little bit of check boxing, like for yourself. And if you feel it is good, and now it is like always you have the assistance of AI, so you always have a backup of it. So it is not always that you are alone, so you have assistance. So yeah, it is not that very difficult, but you will get some suggestions as time passes, as you gain experience. You can easily find like, okay, you can easily check that on yourself. So how you write the code, so it comes with practice. And then you can't do anything at the beginning, everything at the beginning, just be perfect at the beginning. So it is fine.
Hi, thanks for the amazing
Hi.
session. My question is like I am first year student and starting
Hmm.
DSA,
Okay.
but I am more like have interest in machine learning. So how I can manage both like DSA and ML part together?
Hmm. So that yeah, I get it, because DSA it is very important. Because okay, if you come to an industry level, and if you ask me that is DSA that very important, all the algorithms that I'm learning, all the thing data structures that I'm learning here in college, will that be useful here? Actually, no, you will not be right in all the DSA parts. Like, I mean, the things that you learned in DS that you do with DSA, right? You won't be doing that in your daily basis. But but it is very important for you to get into a company, because that's how they test your logical thinking and how good you are at. So be it any, even if you're like into more into machine learning or anything, but it is very, as a computer science student, it is very important to have DSA. So try parallelizing maybe. So you're in your first year, so you got some time. You can uh, just keep like one problem per day, that is enough. So if you're not finding some time for yourself to do everything, initially you can have like this one problem, one DSA problem a day, and then you can just learn 1 hour of like machine learning or things. And then slowly, but it might look very small at initially, but when you do it consistently for a longer period of time, the thing that you've learned will be like huge. So yeah, start small, get comfortable, then again increase your amount of DSA questions that you practice, or things that you learn with machine learning. So it's always like you can't do everything all at once. It will get overwhelmed. You will be overwhelmed. So always like start small. So just get comfortable with that routine, and then increase. So just see like how much you can handle it. So yeah, that's what I'll suggest. Just start small.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Hello, Mridini.
Hi.
So I started my DSA journey in 2-1 like 3 months ago,
Okay.
and my coding platform ratings are also stable and they are growing gradually.
Hmm.
So the problems I have is they gave a course for us in our college by offered by Smart Interviews company,
Okay.
And the problem is, I don't know where to start. They are giving courses, the roadmap is very good, and they will train us with DSC.
Mm-hmm.
But I think their approach is like very beginner friendly. They'll teach so slow for
Mm-hmm.
very low learners also. But my problem is, I want to complete more problems. I
Hmm.
want to be more efficient
Hmm.
because whatever the classroom learning they do, like for 3 hours, we get some basic problems,
Hmm.
with three to four problems and stuff like that. But I wanna be more efficient with the problems. But the other people have started their DS in first semester or second semester only. So could you suggest how can I manage the DSA course uh, without just classroom learning, but on my own?
Yeah, so I totally get you because even when I was in college, it was like that. So we have this DSA course in my college too, and parallelly I have to do more problems in order to that's okay. So it's based on your speed level of like learning. So if you think that you can do like lot more problems other than that, and if you think okay, so you can't skip classes, that's not the thing, but yeah, you somehow have to figure out to parallelly do things. Maybe yeah, you have, even though you think that those topics that they teach you in classes is like you know them already, it is you just think it as like some, it's always very good to revise, so revise things, so just uh, sit with those classes. Maybe you can try doing all the hard level problems of the topics that you are just going through in classes, but you have to do it parallelly because yeah, so after classes somehow you can just see other topics that you can do off, but it is sort of difficult to do that everything. But once you yeah get start getting a hold of it, you might feel it easy to multitask. But yeah, there's like no option, right? You have to sit in class and to do it, so you have to figure out other way to like parallelly do it.
Thank you, Mridini. But what's your opinion on strivers? I want to do strivers DLC also.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because that I have when I can work efficiently when I have a roadmap or someone guiding me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Strivers is actually he gives you a very good DSA sheet, because even I am still now I'm just following Strivers sheet because it has a proper structure, right? You have like all the basic level, medium level, hard level problems from each and every topics, so you can slowly go through it. And I'll highly recommend you to, even if you're like done with college and everything, I highly recommend you doing Stivers, DSA sheet, or not only Stivers, there are like many other DSA sheets with like proper roadmap. But as you're starting, Stiver is a very good sheet. If you are done with all the 400, around 400 problems, I think he has it in his basic sheet. So if you're just done with that, and it's not only like get completing all the sheets, because when you're like halfway through, you might just forget a few problems. So it is very good to go revisit and check yourself and think about it, and that's how you slowly do it. You just do it consistently. It it actually helps you a lot. It will help you a lot. You can crack a lot of companies by just going through all the problems in that sheet. That is actually enough, far more than enough to get decent hold on like many good job offers.
Okay. One more question. I'm really sorry for asking too
No,
many
no, no,
questions.
just ask me more questions. That's fine.
All my peer students are doing some of the other certifications or participating in some workshops.
Mhm.
But my senior suggested me that a course will have a value in resume if it has minimum of 30 hours coursework or something.
Okay.
What's your opinion on that? Should I do 1 hour or 2 hour workshop or something like that, and apply for those? Do numerous courses like that, or should I focus on long-term courses like 30 hours ka course? Because I also have this IITM course and I just started my diploma. So
Okay.
it's really overwhelming that other people are doing so many courses, and diploma course I started this now,
Okay.
and I won't get the certificate of the foundation course also.
Okay.
I actually expected them to give the foundation course certificate, but then I realized you get the certificate only after you quit the program.
Okay.
So it's just too overwhelming for my others who are pursuing this course also. They are not getting so much time to do all the certifications, but
Hmm.
our classmates are doing all the certification posting on LinkedIn. So could
Yeah.
you help me with that?
Yeah, sure. So, to be honest, when I was in college, even I had like a lot of things. I go and attend workshops and just like used to post them in LinkedIn and everything. But then I'll recommend you these long duration courses more than workshop, because workshop will just give you an idea of like just a small it's just a spark kind of thing. You have to learn again, so it is all about like learning, right? So you can attend workshops. I won't say that don't attend any workshops. They just give you an over a skeleton view of like a particular thing that you are just trying to learn. But it is always, and after that again you have to get more deeper, you have to deep dive into concepts. You have to learn a lot on like what the actual thing is about. So long duration courses will have like, you can add it to your resume, because you'll know a lot of concepts in the long duration courses, because you'll be learning a lot, right? So that will be an add on for your resume, because when an interviewer just comes in, like sits, and he'll be seeing your resume, and he or she'll be seeing your resume, and they'll just see the that you completed. They might, if they have any context on the thing that you have certificate on, then they'll ask you a lot of questions on that. And so in that way, these long duration courses will be more helpful for you to have more context on like what you're learning. And I get it, because it is overwhelming to like handle everything, because you have to do DSA, attend classes, and you'll have a lot of you might have projects going on, lot of things to do. But yeah, but if you're just trying to learn something new, and you want to add it to your resume with like more value, it is better if you just okay, so instead of thinking it as some 45 hour 45 hours of like duration this courses, you just think it of like, yeah, 45 minutes each day. So I'll just give my time for like 1 hour, and in that way I can just complete this course within 3 months maximum. Even if you take breaks, 3 months maximum. So on whole, 3 months looks like a decent duration, right? So you can just break, and you can complete the course, because it will be an add-on for you. You can add it in your resume if it is a very good certificate. So yeah, just one step at a time, not everything together. That might overwhelm you.
Yeah, you're true about that. And the PR people who come to our classes or do the PR, they will be promoting that event like this is so important. You'll get a certificate and all that. And
Hmm.
one of my seniors told me, like told all of us that okay, you do this course, long term ka course that will add only one line to your resume, but
Hmm.
about the whole sheet, like how can you fill that? So I just wonder, like, more lines of achievements will add more value to the resume, or what you do. Like, when I also did a web development course, a full stack course, which is going on. It was given by our college only.
Hmm.
That is one of the certifications. Okay, you put that, and you put this smart interviews certificate. Then, what about the remaining? So you should attend more and more workshops. But I feel like I do attend a lot of workshops, but they're not that helpful. For example, I attended a computing workshop. They didn't teach us much. That's the definition of cloud computing, and they built some agentic AI model. That's it. So So do these certifications really add value, like one day certifications?
Hmm. So yeah, again, even for me, I had the same case. Like they'll be saying, like you just complete this one. You have if you do this, it will add a lot of value. Yeah, I get it, but it is not only about that. It is a thing like how well you know things, because you just think it of like, okay, what is your ultimate goal? You have to, next is your career, right? That is the ultimate goal. So you want to get a good job, or yeah, that's what you will want. So what, so for that, an important way is, I mean, important thing is your resume. So just think about your resume. If you add it in the resume, will it be valuable? Because the thing is, you can't add everything that you attend, everything that you go and like work for in your resume. Because that will like, go on like pages and pages. That is not possible. The thing is, just see whether you want to attend it, you are interested, more interested towards that topic, you want to learn a lot about the topic, and see like how things are in that topic, so that you'll get more idea on it and you're more interested towards that specific topic that you're learning for. It is not always like you have to learn, you have to attend all the workshops, do all the certifications in order to get a job. That is not necessary. Even one thing that I can say is, you just know four things, okay, that's it. But other people are like, no one, they have put added some around 10 things in their resume, but you only know four things. I'll say that instead of just adding everything, all the 10 things, four things alone are enough to be added in a resume. But those four things that you're adding in your resume, you should be very clear and very thorough of like what you're doing. So it is always like, no, it is not about attending many workshops, many number of workshops, and adding everything to your resume and you're getting done. No, that is not what you do. Just like attend the things that you are more interested into. uh, get like, learn everything. You can't do like 10 long duration courses, that is not possible. But try to learn new things as much as possible. But if you're learning it, learn it properly, because that is the only, that will only benefit you, nothing other than that. If you're just simply attending the workshop, many workshops, but you're not learning it properly, you're not thorough with like what you're learning, that won't be a very good it won't help you a lot, I can say. Thing is, if you're learning something, learn it properly. Even though it is two things, it is fine. Just go with your pace, do whatever you can, but be the best in what you do. Like, give your maximum input to your to that particular thing that you're learning, so that you are actually good at it. Because that's what they see. So if you're just adding like five things, I just know Java, React, let me say, and you just completed some course completion. It's like, if the interviewer knows about Java, he'll ask questions only from Java. So but you just went to some workshop related to that programming language, but you're not, you don't know that much. I'm just giving Java as an example, it's programming language. Anyway, you'll have an idea, but I'm just simply saying. But yeah, again, and you don't know that much in of things about Java, then yeah, it it is not that great, right? So just add the thing, even though they are less, add the things that you know. That is enough, actually. Just be thorough of like what you're learning. I'll say, even though you're learning very few things, that is okay, but be good at it. That is what I will suggest.
Thank you, Mridini. Thanks a lot. This helped me so much.
Thank you.
And all the best for your further life and career and all of that. And have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah,
Are
good.
you free for one more doubt?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very basic question, yet I have been finding it very difficult to face. Like,
Hmm.
I've been trying to solve basic questions for a while,
Hmm.
but I am finding it difficult to approach a particular question, even though I always spend a bit time revising what the concept is. Every time I approach a question, it feels like I am learning a new concept because I take a lot of time finding, and at the end of the day, I just think like I learned the question as it is, like look at the solution and learn the questions. But this pattern is being repetitive every time, and I don't feel like I'm learning anything new. So could you help me to approach a particular question in DSA so that one gets a good concept of how to apply all these DSA concepts and solve coding questions in lead code or strivers, whatever you find in platforms?
Yeah. So coming into that, I even had the same problem. Okay, still like okay. So if you just go like 2 years ago, I solved some problem, and if you just show me that problem, yeah, actually, it is difficult for me to like just come up with yeah, I just did this logic and this. I'll be surprised like oh, I did solve this question. So even I get surprised. Okay, that's how I solved it, but how did I do that? And just so go and like look into it that is like natural. It's not only you who are like facing that, who's facing that. It is natural to have such things, but DSA, I'll always say that don't do it randomly. So just simply take a problem and and you're just starting with DSA, just taking a problem, just solving it. Yeah, it's done. You are not getting any progress after like half of the solution. So you're just looking into solution, how to do it. You'll be understanding it really very well. Yeah, I just got it. I'll just do it, and done. And once after like a week, again you just like come back to the problem. You'll not be getting like okay, this is how I solve, but I'm not, it's just not striking me. So when you just follow this pattern, you might face these difficulties. But I always like recommend you to go pattern by pattern. So be it just start with a very simple pattern like two pointers or sliding window. Just look at the problem first. So let me, if you're just taking sliding window problem, just read the question properly, segment by segment. So first you just see, okay, if you have, so first of all you have to look at the question, and you should come to a state that okay, so I'm just reading this question, looking at this question, and I think I can give this approach. Like, okay, this is a sliding window question, and you're looking at the question, and you should just, it should just strike you. Okay, it is a two-pointer question. So the first step is that. So you just you have something like you have longest substring within the scale. Then okay, yeah, it is a sliding window question. So you have to practice it in a way like that. So rather than getting the question solved, giving a solution, and just passing all the test cases, just it's okay. You can take your own time. Okay, just look at the question, just see like okay, what pattern is this question, and just try analyzing it. If you're not getting it, it is okay to get help. Get use LLMs. You have got like a lot of models now. Just use chat gpt. Just make it as your companion or something. Okay, just see the problem and say like okay, so if you're getting this kind of questions for like longest substring, for example, okay, what could be the actual patterns that I can apply for this kind of question? Longest substring with like this window size of k. Okay, then see similar patterns of questions. So all will be like coming around this sliding window with little bit of changes. You will be using maps in certain questions. You will be using sets in certain kind of question. That logic will only differ, but apart from that, the pattern will be same. So once you are able to identify pattern for each and every question, once you come to that position, then you will be getting a little bit of spark of like okay, what I can do next. If it is distinct, I can use a hash set. If they are saying, if they are asking me count, then along with the sliding window I can use a map. So you'll slowly start, you'll slowly get all these things one by one. If you just go by patterns, just take first simple question, just see what the pattern is, just go pattern by pattern. That's what I'll recommend you. You're just seeing a question, just you'll get it, this pattern. And if you take as I told you, if you take sliding window, then once you solve around like 5 to 10 questions in sliding window, you'll get to know that okay, all these sliding window questions are like almost the same skeleton only. Little bit of things will only change. So slowly you have to practice. Just take one step at a time. You can't master everything beginning, I would say initially. So it is very important for you to start one by one, start slowly. Okay, that's what I'll recommend you to do.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, like you said, as a intern, as a newbie, you enter, like you see a code base and it's like this whole monolithic code to you, okay? And even if you know the language, even you have made some projects with it, still all the dependencies and the code makes it like very hard to approach. And like from an open source point of view, it makes it very tough to start contributing actually.
Hmm.
So how would you advise me to approach this?
Um, so actually, I'll just share my experience. When I just started interning, I'm comfortable with Java, and the system that I worked in also used Java. But the Java that they used, I didn't even get anything there. It looked very different, and it was quite a bit difficult for me to understand them initially. But it is always like you you have to ask people around you who like work around that, and you have to get as much as KTs as possible, as many KTs as possible, because they'll share like what are the things, because you'll have a lot of doubts, you will not understand first initially. When you look at it, it will look very clueless for you. So it is important for you to reach out to people who actually know things, and just get the basic idea. At least you should understand everything vaguely. Then you have to slowly start diving deep into each and every thing that you're looking into, even like if you're like trying to do some open source contribution also. That's what, just like reach out to a few people, like very nice people around, who'll be very happy to uh, teach you things. To you can learn a lot from others. So just reach out to community, and then just ask as many questions as possible. Just get some idea to get started with. But initially you'll not have any idea. You have to start it, and later slowly you'll figure it out, like on how it is actually working or how it goes. But it will take some time. Initially get some help, because you can't be totally independent. Just like if you're starting out, you can't be totally independent. You have to slowly start. So it is always okay to reach out if you have any questions, to get more understanding on like what you're doing.
Okay, thanks for that. And upon the previous discussion about certifications, I'd just like to ask about like those AWS certifications that exist. So how relevant are those?
It is actually always good to have AWS certification. Still, I don't have one, but I'm planning to do it now, because it is actually, AWS is like, they are like good certifications which companies and recruiters might, find it catchy in your resume. So better than other, I mean, it is better than other some random certifications that you get. It is always good to have some Azure or AWS certification, and getting to know that content. Actually, it will be helpful. So it is okay to get the certifications if you actually
Okay.
want to.
And if you don't mind me asking, which certification are you looking forward to doing?
I'm just planning to start with. Okay, maybe I'll just share you one link. You can just go through the things. Like I think you guys would have some idea on skillbuilder.aws.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like I'm just planning to start with some foundation courses only, not like everything. I can't, I don't have any idea on certifications too. Even I have to look on like what to do. But yeah, it's you just go through the skillbuilder.aws website,
Okay, okay,
so you'll get some idea. I am just planning to do some cloud certification, foundation one.
okay. Thank you for sharing that.
So, are there questions? Any more questions, guys?
Hi. I I do a bunch of personal projects on my own, quite big ones.
Okay.
And I've only recently started learning about design patterns.
Mm-hmm.
I've been reading the Gang of Four book.
Okay.
Uh, and whenever I pick a project, I am really confused as to how to approach it from design pattern sense. And I
Hmm.
find myself spending a lot of time doing that
Okay.
and not really settling on any one pattern. Any advice on how to proceed with that?
Okay. Even I'm like planning to do such projects. So I think I feel like you can approach it in a way, um, just like as it's like a big project, and if you're planning to do some scalable level, scalable project, I'll recommend you to start from a high level view of the project. Just start with the HLD, then go detail by detail, like what are you planning to do in each and every component. Like just go with LLD. So first, just do that properly. So it's just important to think layer by layer as an engineer. So it's not like only you just do some coding. Code works, you're just getting some output, your project is done. So if you're like planning to do some production level project or like a bigger project, I always will recommend you like to see, okay, the first thing you will be doing, start with the security. Like what are the things that you can see with security? What are the thing if you can do if there's like high level of traffic, or like how you can reduce latency, because latency is a very big thing when it comes to a production level project. So what you can do for that, so just explore everything starting from the first step to the last. So end to end project, just go with the proper system design thing, so that you learn a lot of things which will be very helpful for you. And even now, like even as an experienced candidate, for freshers DSA alone is enough, but when it comes for an experienced level candidates, or like whenever if you are trying to crack a very good or a very big offer that you're trying to do, it is very important to have an idea of like system design. So yeah, initially it might look a little bit difficult, because even like I'm facing that right now. But I feel like if you just start with a proper HLD with all the components arranged, all the layers arranged, then you'll have an idea on like what you where to start with, and slowly you can finish off like each and every component, and you can contribute. I feel, I don't know whether it's helpful answer for you, but yeah.
No, no, thank you. That was helpful. Thanks.
Thank you.
I think we are good to wrap up.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys. It was very nice, to have a conversation with students, and it's been like around 6 months for me, and since I like completed my college, and it is nice to interact with you guys as an engineer. I can say just like starting my journey as an engineer. So I hope that this session was like useful for you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really love
Okay.
talking to you.
Thank you so much, Mridini, for taking the time to share your experience and insights with us. I'd like to say thank you from all of us for answering our questions so patiently and for breaking down complex ideas in a beginner friendly way. I'd also like to thank all who joined, engaged in the discussion, and helped make this session interactive and meaningful. With that, let's bring this session to a close. Thank you once again, Mridini, and thank you all for being a wonderful audience.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Thank you, ma'am.